Hey everyone, I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, and today we're here with Dawson Botsford from Earnifi, where he's the founder. It's a very cool airdrop type service that I haven't seen really anything like it before, and it helped me get a ton of free crypto. So I wanted to jump on here and share this with you guys so that you guys could do the exact same thing, because who doesn't like free crypto? So thank you so much for being on today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for people who don't know who you are, do you want to just give a little bit of a background about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Dawson. I'm a software engineer by trade. Spent a couple years in college studying computer science. After that, did the classical, just the Silicon Valley thing. Spent some time in Silicon Valley working for random small startups outside of the crypto space. But I got into crypto very loosely back in 2014, in and out over the years, frustrated at price changes, and then eventually in 2018 just went fully committed, fully full-time on it, and haven't regretted it ever since. So software engineering was my background, and at this point doing business as well and just running the company as well.
Awesome. And then for people who don't know about like Earnifi, what is that exactly, and when did you get that started?
Sure. Yeah. So to tell you about Earnifi and like really why this is useful to you, you need to first understand airdrops. So if I could just do a quick intro on airdrops, I think that'll really help the situation. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
So an airdrop is it's a way to distribute free crypto. So new projects or new protocols that are launching, they will find a certain subset of users and just send them free crypto. And when I say send them, it's not actually like they send it to you. It's they add your wallet to a list, but you have to come to them. And that's where the fundamental issue here lies, is that within Ethereum and other cryptocurrencies, we don't have a notification system built in. There's no way for these protocols to let you know that you have free money waiting. And so what Earnifi does is it's one website to place your address or multiple addresses, and I'll search you for all the airdrops that are known out there all at once.
Yeah, exactly. And what's really cool about it, like from my perspective, is that I was searching around for a bunch of different places that might have something similar, or even just like a list of airdrops, and it's hard to find that information. So then when I found this, super easy, just put my address in and it said you've got money waiting, and then you just go and get it. So that's very, very easy. And does this cover everything, like share drops, earn drops, like all those types of things, or is it mainly just airdrops?
At the moment, it is DeFi airdrops specifically. So there have been airdrops in the past which were questionable on their ethics, in that they have required user information. And so whether it's submitting a form or joining their Telegram, for the most part, that is something that Earnifi does not stand for. So we do not think that you should have to share your information publicly. And for that reason, those airdrops are excluded initially. You'll see I have a few tweets. I mean, if you were to scroll back in history, you can see a couple of these in the past. Only in the future, if it turns out the protocol is a legitimate DeFi protocol that's not just taking your information, and if the airdrop is not just a pump and dump, then it will be listed on Earnifi.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because like I know Kick token I got from an airdrop like so long ago, but then I wasn't able to sell it, and I was like, what is this? But yeah, no, I think that's like, it's just so useful to have a tool like this, because again, like there's so few tools out there that people can actually go and use to find things like this. And just being able to very simply put your address in and then figure out what's out there, especially since it's going to expire. Because I don't know if you touched on that earlier, but they will expire eventually. So you've got a time limit to actually go and do this. So yeah, it's all the more important to find a tool like this, use it, get the notifications, and actually get ahead of that, so you don't miss out. Because again, there's thousands of dollars out there to be claimed, and you do not want to miss that, right? So, here, let me scroll down. In terms of airdrops being like a marketing play, or like what is your take on airdrops? Like, what is the value behind that, and what is the point, I guess?
Yeah, it's super great question. Both on the expiring front, which expiring will relate to the marketing question you just asked as well. So with airdrops, a majority of the ones I'm seeing come across at the moment are legitimate projects. They are attempting to distribute their token, whether it's a governance token or otherwise, like if it has different powers to the purpose of the token. From what I'm seeing right now, and the reason this is a well-timed product, which Earnifi launched in February, by the way. So I really caught the bull run on this, and it ended up being a very large like bull run for airdrops as well. When this was first released, I added, I think it was 6 or 7 of just the most legendary airdrops. It was like 1inch, Uniswap, Badger, Curve. I think it was Tornado Cash. Yeah, I think that was the list. Furu combo. That was it. So that was the full list back then, which to this day, in my mind, those are all very legitimate projects. Those are they're not just a marketing ploy. They really did reward their users. For any of you listeners who received the Uniswap airdrop, for instance, whether you hodled it or not, you can identify that it definitely had real value. It was not just a marketing ploy. And so I'm happy to see that, because that could really, the airdrop space is tricky because there is so much spam and there is so much marketing hubbub out there. So so the entire purpose of this product is that I do the hard work of filtering that spam for you, and also it is a full-time job to watch these. If I originally built this in the Market Make hackathon, and to start off the hackathon, I did a lot of research to see what was out there. And if this had existed, I wouldn't have built this. Like, I needed this product for myself. And actually, because of building Earnifi, I've found several airdrops that I didn't know I had. And so it's been a wild ride so far. And I'm really happy that the projects I'm seeing come across they're really in it for the right reasons.
Yeah. And I think it's such an innovative way to get your coin out there and to reward, loyal users. And there's so many different cool use cases for airdrops. But again, as we know, very few people are actually aware of them or catch wind of that. So yeah, super, super important. You probably already mentioned this, but like, what problem specifically does Earnifi set out to solve?
That's a great question, because it didn't start off with what it is today. So when I first built this, the idea was to be a simple web page to paste your address and find your airdrops. And of course, that still is the basic premise of this. But the massive value that Earnifi has brought is these expiring airdrops and a notification for these expiring airdrops. So when this first launched, I don't think there were any expiring airdrops that had happened yet. I'm pretty sure I caught right in the beginning. I think Mask was the first one, which was included on Earnifi. And for those of you out there, if you're not sure if you had the Mask airdrop or not, Earnifi will remind you so that you can realize Earnifi would have been useful for you back then. So that was one of the features I added pretty quickly, is letting you know which ones you already missed, just so that you can understand these do exist, and your wallets may or may not already be eligible. If you're taking part in DeFi often, you will. So yeah, the primary just evolution that this has really helped Earnifi out was to add this notification system. So you'll get an email when you match a new airdrop, whether you're a premium paying customer or not. You will get an email. If you are a non-paying customer, it will tell you the exact US dollar amount you have in this airdrop, and then you can decide to buy it. You can decide whether you would like to purchase premium Earnifi or not. And I really like that pricing model because, of course, there's a lot of excellent open source projects out there, and the economics of open source projects, they're just more difficult than an actual premium, like a SaaS paying model. And so, of course, just like all the other crypto folks out there, I don't like paying for things. A lot of things on the internet should be free. I do agree with that as well. And so, the site never charges you for things that you don't need. If you don't want to pay for premium, then you can choose to ignore that US dollar amount that's in your face and hopefully go find it yourself, which good luck. I'd love if there was better information out there, because these airdrops are very hard for me to find as well.
You know what, I will say, when I used Earnifi originally, I saw that I had like, $900 that I could claim. And I did try to do exactly that. I think after like an hour of just searching, I was like, you know what? I just got to pay for the premium, and yeah, I got my $900 or whatever. And then, yeah, so I won't actually say the airdrops to, give you a little bit of that, premium service. But yeah, no, it's super easy to do. And yeah, I don't think I would have ever found them. So yeah, it definitely saved a lot of work. And for the small amount that I paid, I mean, it's like you get a ton of free crypto anyways, and you could just use that to pay for it. So, no worries there. And I mean, I assume there'll be a lot more in the future that I'll be able to take advantage of too. So, it's a double win. What was the motivation behind the name and the original idea behind Earnifi?
Sure. So that's a funny question, because it did not start as Earnifi. The very original users will know this. There was I gave out an early adopter POAP token, which I should actually get into POAP tokens pretty soon as well in this conversation. But let's put that to the side for now, because Earnifi checks you for more than just airdrops. So it was originally called Claimable, which I think is actually even more fitting than Earnifi. Turns out Claimable is already a United States company, copyright registered, trademarked. And actually they got a lot of traffic from especially folks in France, and they were sending requests, like customer support questions to Claimable, this other company. And the founder messaged me and was like, what is going on here? Please teach me, can we work something out here? Because of course I don't have the right to own that name. So he did. And then I changed to Earnifi, and yeah, it went from there. And I do plan, Earnifi also was very tactical of a name change, because the future growth of Earnifi, I do plan on helping folks earn both airdrops and earn in DeFi.
Yeah. So that's Earnifi kind of, yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So you mentioned POAP. Do you want to dive into what that is and how that all ties into Earnifi?
Yeah, I'd love to. Definitely. I think we should discuss the POAP or POAP tokens. In addition, maybe a quick glaze over of that expiring airdrop mention we had, because I feel like we maybe didn't go into it quite enough to explain it.
Sure. Yeah, let's dive in.
Okay, I'll just go over that real quick, and then, because POAP tokens is something I have a lot of passion for. But yeah, let's do expiring airdrops. So at this moment in airdrop history, it seems like between 25 and 50% of airdrops that come out are expiring. So what that means is the team wants you to claim it within 1 week, 3 days, 1 month, 3 months, 1 year, different time lockouts. And keeping track of all of them is pretty tricky. Luckily, Earnifi shows you this as well. It'll show you how many days, hours, months you have to claim, in case you want to wait for maybe gas to change, or you want to wait a month and then purchase premium. And so with these expiring airdrops, when they're expired, they are gone forever for you. You cannot go claim these. And unfortunately, there are unbelievable amounts of money that have been now expired that you may or may not have known about. So again, as I mentioned, when I first launched this, I found out about the Mask airdrop because of me running the site. And the Mask airdrop was more than $1,000. It had a 1 week expiration, and it had a countdown of every 24 hours it would cut in 20%. So Mask was just an extremely aggressive expiration and countdown timer. And so that's definitely a massive use case of Earnifi. And for everyone out there, signing up for these notifications for 2 wallets and getting emails about them is fully free. So I would recommend at least to go do that much, so that you don't miss ones in the future.
Yeah. Sweet. And then for POAP tokens?
Oh, awesome. Yeah, so POAP, this stands for Proof of Active Participation. and it's also pronounced Pope, like the Pope in Italy. So POAP tokens are proof that you've been to an event or taken part in something. This could be like a hackathon, or it could be joining a YouTube stream and maybe taking part, commenting, just anything. Sometimes they're really big, like maybe you took part in a month-long hackathon, or sometimes it's really simple and easier to get, like you did watch, a 30-minute YouTube stream and commented or something like that. What's really cool about these is that you can use them as collectibles, and we all get kind of this gamification thrill. We enjoy this as folks in crypto. We speak digitally native. We understand that even a collectible that is digital can still be important and valuable to us. And so adding POAP tokens to Earnifi was the first step. And there are over 40 of them that Earnifi checks you for free. They're always free. They show up for full for all users. It allows you to go claim them. But once you've claimed them, there's actually raffles. So if there's a company out there who has a POAP token, or anyone who wants to just reward a certain subset of users, they can create a raffle. And the raffle website especially is pretty tricky to navigate. I've worked with the POAP team on this. It's definitely on the roadmap to continue iterating and improving these things. But Earnifi does fit this space because Earnifi can notify you. And so with Earnifi, it checks you for over 40 POAP tokens. It also checks you for every single raffle that's currently running, which is, I think at the moment, there's over 50 raffles. And so, yeah, all this happens with just pasting in your address.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I didn't get any POAP tokens, but I will definitely take a look through them and see like what's available. What are some, like you mentioned, like hackathon? Like what are some other examples of POAP tokens that you could get?
Sure. Yeah. So I'll give a self-serving answer real quick, and then move on to maybe more famous ones folks would know. So we're Earnifi. When it first launched, I gave out the claimable early adopter, which is especially like interesting in legacy at this point because that's not the name of the product. It's stuck with the same branding though, so you can tell when you see this POAP token, you're like, is this the same thing? And up in the next few weeks here, I'm actually releasing a premium POAP. So for anyone who's been a premium member for 3 months or more, you'll get this, and it will have special powers. The special powers are yet to be announced, but because this stuff is on chain, you can give special powers. And I think one of the most famous examples of this that folks might know about already is Bankless. So the Bankless podcast, they have a POAP token. It gives you Discord access. It gives you access to certain clothing sales. And yeah, it gives you a couple different like forum access things. So it's pretty cool how this could be, put into code.
Yeah. No, I think that's awesome. It's like making loyalty NFTs, because you don't really see a lot of that yet, but I think that's like a major use case, especially for different projects and companies and people who want to get involved with the blockchain in some way, shape, or form. They could definitely do something with POAP tokens, and whether it's like a 10% off their business or, so many different things. So yeah, I think that's awesome to bring NFTs into the mix in that sense. What are some big updates that are in the works or might release soon? What are some things for us to look forward for Earnifi?
Yeah, so one thing I did launch about a month ago is called Learnfi. And this is a section that will help you learn about airdrops. So, as we've seen throughout this discussion, there are millions of dollars. Maybe we didn't actually hit on the exact dollar amount, but Earnifi has sent out over $8 million of email notifications just since February.
Wow.
So there's millions of dollars out there, and you can actually do things in advance to try to make yourself included in these future airdrops. So now we're talking about like planning in the future, and this is
make sure you do a swap on, a swap exchange and things like, yeah. Okay.
Exactly. So, cool. We've got this, like, we know the Uniswap history, we know the 1inch history, we know, like I mentioned, Mask just now, Mask expired. Like, we've got these several, I just listed 3. Now, what if you took that, the eligibility requirements of 50 airdrops, which is how many are on Earnifi, compiled them into one place and made that a knowledge resource so you could come to and study and say like, oh, okay, so there's actually several airdrops if I set up an ENS domain name, which that's true, by the way. If you set up an ENS domain name, there's several ways that they can reward you, because you've got your Twitter account posted there, like linked. You've got your You can link through your GitHub, Twitter, email. It hides your email, by the way, like profile picture, all of this. And so ENS is definitely one of these things that it's very likely in the future that, or I would say it is quite likely in the future that this could mean an airdrop for you. And
okay, so I should be updating my my ENS and make sure my Twitter is in there.
Yes, definitely. Twitter was the requirement for the mask airdrop.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so I should definitely be doing that then.
Yeah, it's quite easy to do, and I think gas is pretty cheap right now.
Yeah, it's way down from
Awesome.
I mean, so is Ethereum,
Gas
sadly,
and the cost.
but
The price.
yeah, so it's a double-edged sword. But yeah, no, that's really cool. And yeah, people who want to learn more about airdrops and like I tell my friends when I get an airdrop and then they're all like, nah, none of us can claim it. So I think having something like that is really useful for the people to just know, like, what should I do if I think this might have an airdrop in the future. So yeah, that's really awesome. Do you think that there's any other similar projects to Earnifi, or is Earnifi really just like completely unique and there isn't really anything else doing exactly what you're doing? And if there is, like, what makes you different from those projects?
Yeah, I have seen similar projects in two different areas though. They have massive differences, or else Earnifi would not be kind of like the place to go to for this, which it is. But the two areas I've seen folks really succeed at is, one is posting absolutely everything. There's websites that have absolutely every airdrop out there. And it's so much that, I shouldn't say absolutely every airdrop, because actually there are several on Earnifi I've found that weren't on there that are very valuable. But what you find is that getting quality on those websites is so difficult. Like 1 in every 5 you click on is going to be an airdrop that's more than $10. And then you can't even tell what chain it's on. Is it on ETH? Is it on, is it a BSC airdrop? Is it an Avalanche airdrop? You can't tell. And so
yeah, I had that trouble when I was originally trying to search around, and I did find one website that just had a ridiculous amount, but they were all like $1, $2, and I'm just like sifting through all these like things that I'm obviously not going to bother with. So yeah, it's nice to be able to just like easily filter all that with Earnifi and also see the exact dollar amounts instead of having to go through and look for it.
Exactly. You've got this $1, $2 issue. Like, there was one I found that I was included in, and it was a real airdrop, and it was, I think, like 26 cents, and I didn't list it, obviously. I guess that's not obvious, but for everyone out there, this is part of the ethics of Earnifi, is that I won't waste your time, or I try never to waste your time. There's certain airdrops that are dynamically calculated, and so for those, I can't necessarily I'm not going to hide an airdrop that is $1 for you, but yeah, you do have to be above a threshold of the cost of gas to get email notifications.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, if you're losing money on gas, then it's like, yeah, what's the point here?
Yeah, exactly. So that's one of these kind of categories of similar products. And again, that works for some folks, but it will require a lot of effort to go research that. The other avenue is, there's a few open source solutions out there that have, I found one initially that had, I think, five different airdrops on it. And so, you're starting to get into, if you have the 5 largest and most important airdrops, like Uniswap, 1inch, and others, that's definitely useful. Yes. But when it comes to not studying, but when it comes to adding 50, like there are on Earnifi, that is a full-time study. And it actually requires kind of this distributed set of folks willing to help as well. So some of the early adopters and really dedicated Earnifi users will tag me on things on Twitter or email, and I reward folks if it's a quality airdrop and you're the first one to send it to me. I'll give you some free premium. And so it's this cycle that keeps going, and that the most dedicated folks are kind of self-funding their subscriptions. Meanwhile, they're helping reward everyone else.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so I mean, definitely a lot of uniqueness compared to other projects, like we were saying, that are just kind of brute forcing everything, whereas you're actually picking and choosing the most quality things that you think are the best to share.
Spot on. Exactly.
Fantastic. So where do you see Earnifi going in the next year, in the next 5 years? I know that's always a long time to look ahead in the crypto sphere, but in an ideal world, anyways.
Absolutely. Yeah, in an ideal world and in the real world, I'll definitely be working on this for years. It's something that is proven to be a pretty useful product, and it's something I really enjoy working on. And so it's definitely something that has legs to continue walking and, growing up. One of the main areas I think this could be useful in is if wallet providers or wallet aggregators out there, these are some of the websites, that we might go to find where is all of our money at right now in our wallet. These tools that help make the UI and the user experience of crypto easier, they could really benefit by offering their users notifications about airdrops. And, there's been a kind of interesting back and forth I've had so far in that some of these websites think they have all the airdrops. I spoke with one of the founders publicly on Twitter. He was like, we have all the airdrops. And I was like, oh, you do not have all the airdrops. I mean, because I use that site. I used that site to find my 1-inch airdrop, and that was about it. I think it was 1-inch and Uniswap was what it covered. And I'm not meaning to throw shade on this project because it's actually an incredible tool I still use. It's just that they're not specialized in airdrops. And I think folks don't quite realize that it is a full-time job to notice all of them, study all of them, check your wallets for all of them. And one of the main areas of growth as well is I've worked with a few crypto VCs to create Earnifi accounts to watch up to 50 wallets. And so this is kind of a scaling, it's a solution that scales well. And that if you have 50 or 100, if you're trying to game the system, fair play, like good luck on it. And please use Earnifi to check for all your airdrops, because if you're doing these tactics to try to receive more, why not do it with more wallets and check it out with Earnifi as well. So I do plan on expanding beyond airdrops one day, as I mentioned, to earning in DeFi. But for now, that's going to be probably the most reasonable stuff coming up in the next few months.
Awesome. Do you find that a lot of people do try to set up 5 accounts, trade once on, a swap exchange 5 times or whatever? Do you find a lot of people do try to play that?
I've only come across a couple. Yeah, these are some of the early adopters and some of the folks that are, DMing me the new airdrops. They're really studying them hard. And I think it's really cool to see, because even myself, as I'm running the site and writing the code for this site, so far I've not tried to game the system beyond one wallet, but that one wallet was very profitable. I found since starting Earnifi, I purposely did DeFi activity that I would not have otherwise with the hope of airdrops, and found $4,000. That was through 2 separate airdrops. There's a 3,000 something and then a $1,000 airdrop on top. So it's definitely possible, but it seems pretty rare at this point to see folks that are really dedicating to that, just because gas fees and then the time it takes to research this. But hopefully the Learn pages on Earnifi can help you get started at least, which, as I mentioned, those are live already.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I always appreciate it when projects or, anything, whether it's crypto or anything, not only do they, provide a product or a service, but they also provide education. They don't want to just hold it over you. They want to also teach you and help you, get that level of awareness and education. So I think that's really fantastic that you guys do that. And that's pretty much everything from my end. Is there anything else that you wanted to touch on or shout out or cover?
I think we did hit all the main points. One thing I want to close with is just kind of how thankful I am that airdrops exist. But really the purpose of this, it can seem like a flashy, free money kind of marketing scheme. Even Earnifi can seem that way, even though I've discussed some of the ethics here and that I don't believe it is. What I really want to make sure folks understand is that it's such a fun way to get started in the community, and also to continue getting involved in new projects in the community. Because even if you're in crypto, no one is in every part of crypto, in every dark corner. And so what a better motivation, there is no better motivation than here's free money to come use our thing. And so I'm so excited this is happening, and I'm really thankful that Earnifi is sitting in this place to help folks both it's crazy when folks in developing nations message me that they've found airdrops through this. Like, the Uniswap airdrop is life-changing money for a lot of people on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
There's some crazy stories out there you can go search up, but this type of experience, I think, is just, it's so cool that we're like here in this community. As we mentioned, the price is going down, and yet that doesn't shake us. Like, we're here for more than just these short fluctuations, and more power to it. Gas is a little cheaper now.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully with the July upgrade for Ethereum, we see some big improvements there. So that will be really cool to see how that plays out. But again, I want to recommend Earnifi. I think, like you said, it's really cool how it kind of gets you to maybe want to explore different areas of crypto that you might have not explored. Because when I was explaining to my friends, well, I got this airdrop because I had an NFT, and they're like, I should get an NFT. I should explore that, see what it's all about. And it's like, yeah. So, or like you said, ENS, getting people to test out having like their own .eth crypto address or whatever it happens to be. Lots of cool ways for people to just play around and test out all the things that are available, and then also benefit. So yeah, that's fantastic. And obviously they can learn more at Learnfi, and actually go and check out the website Earnifi, Earna.fi to be specific. Sure. Where can everyone go to learn more about this? Where can they follow you? Where can they follow Earnifi? What are all the socials and websites you'd like to drop?
Yeah, all the socials. The easiest thing is Earna.fi, EARNI.fi. Kind of rolls off the tongue. It's kind of a train wreck, but it's Earnifi. You can find it through Google as well. If you just drop the dot, you'll find it. It's the first thing that comes up. And as far as socials, this project is very direct to, I'm a real person out there. You can find instantly. When you click the Twitter button on Earnifi, it's my Twitter. So you can find me on Twitter through there, and definitely send any suggestions you have, any thoughts. I love hearing people's feedback, because when enough people give good feedback, that's how whole new products launch within this. Like the entire Learn platform, documenting all these airdrops, that was just from user suggestions. So Earna.fi is where you'll find it all.
Awesome. Fantastic. All right, everyone, definitely go check that out. You've probably got some free money waiting for you. So definitely go and check that out. And again, thank you so much for coming on the show and educating people about airdrops and about all the free money that they can go claim.
Thanks for this chat, Scott. It's been awesome.
Awesome. All right. Cheers.
Cheers.